Welcome to the Longbox Paradox, episode 21. I'm Dan, and this week, the week of May 1st, 2019, going to be going over some curated picks for actually a very light week, at least for my collecting habits. I'm going to start out with two titles from DC. Dceased #1 by Tom Taylor and with art by Trevor Hairsine. I think it's Hairsine. Book starts with everyone's favorite Darkseid. The Justice League have defeated Darkseid, and they're telling him to stay off Earth, and he has this master plan of course, the anti-life equation. A lot of Darkseid tropes here. Batman realizes that Cyborg is gone. Hilarity ensues, not really. Justice League starts questioning the fact that he is tracking where Cyborg is. Darkseid has Cyborg on Apocalypse, and he's being messed with by Dceased. They figure out the way to do the anti-life equation is to basically, they call the Black Racer, and Darkseid screws it up with Dceased and accidentally puts part of death in Cyborg, and they mess up the anti-life equation. So basically, Darkseid goes completely insane because he's infected with it and jumps in one of the fire pits. Cyborg gets boom tube back to Earth, and when he gets back on Earth, the equation that's in him starts transmitting to all electronic devices, and basically it causes I don't know if I'd call it zombies, but almost like the 28 days later rage virus, and everybody starts reacting to it, and it's transmitting by electronic devices. Kind of like, what's that movie, The Signal? Anyway, like, Batman realizes what's going on, and he causes an EMP at the mansion, but as we see later on in the issue, Nightwing and Tim Drake have been infected. Superman also has figured out what's going on, stops Jonathan from getting hit with it. I wasn't overly over the moon about this issue. I mean, it's a start. I'm hoping it's going to get better. One thing, I've seen Trevor Hairsine's art before, and I don't know why, but it seemed awfully muddy, especially at the start of the book. I don't know if that was intentional because of the Apocalypse stuff. But, I don't know, it just did not look good to me. Tom Taylor's writing continues to be hit and miss. I had a lot of hope for this. I'm hoping now that the groundwork's laid down where it's going to go from here. It's going to improve. One of the great selling points for this book is, and will continue to be this book, the horror movie variants. This one had Pennywise, the Joker's Pennywise, with the balloon given to Robin to take on the It poster. Robin basically is Georgie. I'd say out of a scale of 1 to 10, this would probably be a 4 or 5 out of 10 for me. While there was a premise there that could be worked with, although Marvel Zombies kind of did this already, but I'll wait and see where this goes. Unfortunately, it took so long to get to where it picked up at the end, where I was like, okay, great. We end with Nightwing basically biting Batman's neck, and then it ends. I wanted a little bit more out of this. It's middle of the road for me. I mean, I'm sad to say because I was actually looking forward to this book, but I'm hopeful that it improves and gets better. I just wish I could say more good stuff about it. And again, when the writing isn't great and the art isn't sucking you in, it kind of makes it hard on you. Okay, so also from DC, Year of the Villain, the quarter book that came out this week, setting up basically the year of what DC's got planned. So if you've been reading Justice League, everything in that book has been leading up to this point. Starts out with Amanda Waller walking into the White House, going to see the president, and Lex Luthor's in there with his Legion of Doom, I guess. This is like straight out of the cartoon kind of stuff. I mean, Grodd, Brainiac, the whole cast of characters. And he basically, it's Lex Luthor talking about and laying out his whole plans, what he plans to do, which they kind of already did this during Infinite Crisis with the Villains United, but we'll leave it as is, because they pretty much every 10 to 15 years they do this again, where Lex will make a band of villains, and we go down this whole road of tropes again. So this issue and basically starts laying out his plans. He basically tells Brainiac what he has planned, and after that he presses a button as Captain Atom's coming and blows up the top of the building where he's at. Then we fast cut now to Green Arrow and Batgirl are chasing down Merlin, and he states that the League of Shadows has fallen. There's a royal flush. And if you've been following Action Comics, the royal flush is Leviathan's been knocking out every agency and organization. The big robot monster that explodes shows up. And we cut to Batgirl, and the person calls her Barbara and says, I'm going to make you an offer that no one else got. You were the Oracle, blah, blah, blah. And we see this masked character, which they're saying is the face of Leviathan, and making the offer. And from there, starts with Batman talking to Damian, and Damian says, when are we going to start talking about the Jason Todd? There's a realistic chance that he is Leviathan. I kind of like that Damian still is on Jason Todd about everything bad that goes wrong. I don't think Jason Todd's smart enough to run an organization like that. His character's always been impulsive. But hey, in DC today, we don't really go with how characters were portrayed in the past. It's just in the moment. Looking at you, Tom King and Wally West. Looking at you. And then from there, we jump onto the next story, which is basically laying out Perpetua, the queen, the mother of the multiverse. And again, Justice League, it's been nonstop hammering Perpetua and all this crap going on. And basically laying out there's just going to be this giant war. For a quarter issue, this is a good filling out. And there was a 1 in 100 art germ cover with Cheetah on it that looks fantastic. I've seen it anywhere from $10 to $20. And then there was a 1 in 500 Jim Chung Batman Who Laughs, which I saw that going anywhere from $30 to $40 on the aftermarket. Beautiful covers. The art germ to me also looks like it's going to be a sleeper, because I honestly don't know what stores actually ordered 100 to 500 of these, so they might be a little rough to get for a bit. And then from Marvel, we have just, I don't even know how to describe this book. It's such a mishmash. Savage Avengers #1, which the whole concept of this was fascinating, with Conan being in an Avengers team. In Avengers No Road Home, it ended with Conan being left in the Savage Land, and he's kind of living the life that he knows. And in this, they lay out there's this cult that is sacrificing people. We cut to Conan is fighting the Hand Ninjas, which is funny seeing a barbarian fighting ninjas, and then Logan comes into the fray. So this is our whole meet cute for the whole team. They continue fighting ninjas, then they start fighting each other, and then we end up moving into Brother Voodoo, who is the third person we'll meet for this team, and he gets his throat slit. There's a whole lot of mishmash going on. Mike Deodato's art, it's usually pretty solid. This was no exception. Gerry Duggan is writing. again, we're in that phase of the book where they're just throwing the characters out and doing the how they meet each other. It ends with Frank Castle at the grave of his wife, and then it just ends. The issue moved really fast. It was really Conan and Logan heavy. I'd probably give this book about a 5 or a 6, and the 6 is mainly because of just the art pushed it a little higher for me. And I forgot to give the grade on the DC Year of the Villains. DC Year of the Villains, for the Leviathan part, I'll put it a 6. The other two parts of it I really didn't care enough about. You might, though, so don't let my feelings on it affect how you feel about the book. I mean, it's a quarter. Go ahead and spend the quarter on the book. I mean, what are you going to do with it? Buy a good piece of gum? Also out, I didn't get to read this week, but I've been reading good things about it. Green Lantern #7. It's mostly a prose issue. Grant Morrison really getting to let loose with his writing. So as soon as I get a chance to actually sit down and read it, I'm looking forward to getting to that because I read one person's review on it, and that made me want to read it a bit more. Usually Green Lantern's pushed to about the middle of my pile. But the positive word of mouth on this makes me want to push it a little bit forward tonight. And also, Walking Dead 191. I'm going to put this as a short spec hold. I'm just a massive spoiler here, but I think you need to know to understand why this is a spec. And also, let me set up also, Walking Dead was a $90K a month book. People have jumped off. The heat on it's died. It now barely cracks 40K. So this week, the book ends with Rick Grimes being shot. Is he dead? I don't know. He was shot square in the chest. It seemed kind of like a bitch way to die if he is going to die. But since there's not as many being printed as before, this could become hot in a week or two, especially even if it's a 1 month hold to find out if that death holds. It will be interesting to see if it does hold because it's quite fascinating if it does because, again, it was a weird way for him to get shot and if it kills him. But this might be the kick in the ass the book needed to get hot again, or at least create a buzz, because it hadn't in a while. This Commonwealth storyline's been going on for what feels like 20 months now. That is about all I have this week. I'm actually a little bit ahead of schedule compared to where I normally am, so that makes me a little bit happy for once. So anyway, happy hunting. Enjoy your reads, share your reads. In this time of comic book movies, especially with Avengers, make sure you let people know who love those movies about the books so they can support them and, I don't know, maybe have those creators make a dime off of it because some of them just don't. So thank you. Like, share, subscribe, comment, let me know what you're reading. I'm always down to hear about new titles. So have a good day, happy hunting, and good night.